Hi. I would like to talk about a thing here to do with the Highland Park Bridge. You know, the Highland Park Bridge opened in 1938, and I personally think that the way it was built was a disaster. What lies at each end of it, I mean. Like, why is there an interchange at both ends of it rather than just a T intersection with a traffic light? And, like, I can see maybe why there's an interchange on the northern end of it, but on the southern end in Highland Park, why is there that trumpet interchange there? Why? There's no highway there. So essentially any bike or pedestrian, like essentially if you go left, like away from the zoo on the bridge, from the bridge like toward Washington Boulevard and whatnot, there's no sidewalks either. Like the only sidewalk that comes off of the bridge goes downstream from it on that side. And they have this stupid setup on the other side of it that, like where the street comes in, one lane, one of the eastbound lanes actually goes onto the bridge in the street. So if you're on a bike and you don't want to go onto the bridge, you have to change lanes essentially into the left lane, and then you move past there. There's like no shoulder there either. It's just a concrete thing that kind of resembles a sidewalk, but it really isn't, because then it eventually just terminates into a Jersey barrier, with the other lane reappearing as it comes off the bridge. That can be an extreme hazard because traffic coming off of the bridge there is very steady. It's not going to stop and wait for someone on a bike to move over back into that lane. There's no stop signs or anything there. It's just because that lane becomes it's what's called a weave area, which is a very dangerous thing. There's like no way to get there as a pedestrian at all. Like, you're stuck. Like, there should at least be a sidewalk over there, and make a bridge or something that goes over top, goes at least behind the bridge, behind that interchange, so that pedestrians can walk on that across the street there and at what's it called, at One Wild Place, and go down and so they can reach Washington Boulevard. And also the intersection of Washington Boulevard and Allegheny River Boulevard is a disaster as well. How it has those two slip lane, like if you're coming from the bridge heading in that direction, there's two lanes going straight, two lanes going back the other way, and then there's that slip lane that essentially becomes the rightmost lane on Washington Boulevard. So then you have two lanes going straight ahead, which further up past the intersection just merges back into one lane, so that the Allegheny River Boulevard becomes one lane each way. And in a narrow shoulder is present on both sides, but... And also, why is the speed limit on Allegheny River Boulevard 45 miles per hour? That just makes no sense. That, if someone gets hit going at that speed, they're pretty sure to get killed. Traffic routinely goes much faster than that through there, which I don't see why, because, you know, the traffic lights aren't going to wait for them. You know, if you have to spend a minute at the traffic light, it's going to take the same amount of time as if you only have to spend a half a minute there, because the traffic light cycle's you're going to have to stop for it anyway. If you get to the traffic light at the beginning of the red cycle versus the middle of it, it's going to take the same amount of time. Then you can move at least a little bit slower. Spare some people their lives. It's not, again, that street was built in the 1930s. Not everyone, the majority of people didn't have cars at the time. Most people walked or used streetcars. Yet there's like very, very minimal pedestrian accommodations there. There's no sidewalk. The shoulders are so narrow that it's basically a laughing matter. And the shoulders probably have drain grates in them that could swallow bike tires. Other debris and trash and just broken glass, metal debris that can cause a flat. I've been through it. I've already been through it. And I'll tell you, it's not a pleasant experience going on that road. Because there's a centerline rumble strip as well. I would think a road that was built during the Depression in the 1930s would at least have better accommodations for pedestrians. As goes with the Highland Park Bridge. Because, you know, my grandfather told me that his father was like the only one on his street that owned a car at the time. And I don't have a driver's license, let alone a car. So, and I don't intend on getting one, because I view personal car use as an environmental and health problem. You know, all the stuff that comes out of the tailpipes on cars is just, it's poison. It really is poison. And it should, and someone who's actually burning calories themselves trying to get themselves somewhere shouldn't have to put up with all those fumes. So, I don't know. They already did make better accommodations on the Birmingham Bridge, but there's still a lot that can be done there too. See, that bridge there was actually built, that was built in the 1970s. Believe it or not. And it was built for like an interstate highway to go across it, which never materialized. So, there were still sidewalks on it though. Well, the Highland Park Bridge has one sidewalk, but you can't go off the bridge the other way, like toward, you're stuck. You end up, in order to get over there, you have to essentially climb up a big hill, which makes it essentially, they're trying to exclude other alternative forms of transportation going across that bridge and trying to get to that area. Like, there are even signs on the corner, on the intersection, just past the bridge, if you were to go that way, that essentially bar pedestrians from getting across the intersection. There are those little stick figures with the red circle and a slash through it. If you know what I mean by those. Like, just don't cross here. Like, you're probably going to get killed if you do. Well, I hope something is done about it soon, very soon, because once that infrastructure shows up, people are going to be using it. I'm pretty sure. If the infrastructure's there, it's going to get used. So, just should be preemptive about it, because there are lots of people who would like to probably go to like Oakmont or Verona or blah blah, wherever, even Monroeville, and yet they can't, because they don't want to bust on that, get killed on that road. So, I don't know. If it's a life or death situation like that, I'm pretty sure most people are just going to try to avoid it, and the only way to avoid it is to have someone drive you, since there's no buses that go up there. There's no bus that goes. Plus, there's people who live further up Allegheny River Boulevard. There's houses. In any residential area, speed limits should be obeyed. And the speed limit should not be 45. I think it should be at most 30. At most. Anything more than that is just crazy. I can see maybe if it was some really rural area that, like, there are parts of Route 910 where the speed limit's 45. I can see why, because it's rural. But then when it goes through densely populated Indianola, it goes down to 35. And then again, past Saxonburg Boulevard, it goes back down to 35, because there are houses back in there, and people might be walking their dogs or whatever. So, what are they supposed to do? Get run over by a car? If they're walking their dog? I don't think so. Well, I had enough ranting there, so I guess just please let me know in the comments what you think of this issue. And please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.